Oh, she strutted right here for 5 minutes or more. Yes. Here goes out. I can just see his tail. Got him. Hello everyone, welcome to Hunt Fishing Ohio Outdoors. I'm your host Trey. Behind the camera today we have Jamie. I'm teaching him a little bit of squirrel hunting. I figured, hey, while I'm teaching him, I might as well give you guys the very first territorial / tip video on squirrel hunting. We're currently a week away. Me and him just come up here. The very first couple nut trees had probably, 4 squirrels in it. I got to film some, and as you guys can see, one of them on your screen right now. We watched him eat for a little bit, and eventually he ended up seeing us. I tried to get around and film the other ones, and pretty much we busted the whole tree out. They all went everywhere, but I'd say the one was pretty much dead if we had our guns on us today. And it had been seasoned, he would have died. He was about 20 yards from us. So what we'll start with first is the types of trees that you want to encounter during an early season stage of squirrel hunting. My favorite trees are definitely going to be a hickory tree and a beech tree, or birch. It's a beech or birch. All depends how you. I always called them a beech tree since I was little, a beech nut tree, etc. Them ones right there are definitely going to be, a really good area to start when you're squirrel hunting in the early season. As the season goes on and progresses later and later, you'll find that a lot of squirrels are just going to be on the ground. You won't be seeing them in a tree as much as you do, during early season. But when we're in here just now, I've been looking around. I haven't seen much cutting, because usually if a squirrel's on a tree heavy, it can only be 2 of them in one tree, and they'll have cuttings everywhere. But as of right now, I'm not seeing any. But if we find some today, I'm going to show you guys what cuttings look like. For now, we're going to go down. I'm going to show you guys a beech tree, and then we'll go down to a surebark hickory. All right, y'all. These tree here, up the white bark. Don't grab the action camera. Or yeah, you can pick it up again. And this tree to my right or left, this tree to my left, your right. Or 2 beech, birch, whatever you want to call them. Everybody got a different name for them. They're beech nut trees to me, and full of squirrels. Literally, they're full of squirrels. I've seen some fresh cuttings I'm about to show you guys here in just a few, but these are really great early season trees. These, just from the sign and the amount of squirrels I saw just coming into the woods, the first 50 yards, I'll come out here the very first day of squirrel hunt, or first evening, whatever, and start here, and should do really good, just judging from this. And y'all have to, excuse me, I thought there was a surebark hickory tree is what we call them. They're just a bunch of barks picking off the trees right here, but it was actually a den tree. And I don't know what in my right mind made me think this was a surebark last year. But it's just a regular old den tree that they all get in. I shot a lot of squirrels off that tree last year, and originally, every time you see them, they were right here in these 2 big beech trees, and they would just go right there with the den trees. Anyways, me and him, we're gonna walk up the ridge a little bit, just a wee little, looking around, see if we can find a surebark, and if we can't, because these woods are mostly acorns, oak trees, and beech trees. It's about the only thing in this little area of woods, so. Alright y'all, I brought y'all to the very last tree of the day that I'm going to explain. Typically everybody already knows what oak and acorn trees are, your most typical nut trees. I have here a shred bark. At the bottom it's not much. As we go up the tree, you'll see why they call it a shred bark tree. shred bark hickory. This is one of my all-time favorite trees to hunt squirrels in. I've been looking on the ground and I'm just seen one of this year's nuts, which is just now. So I found this year's nuts and an old of last year's. It's, you know, quite a bit of cuttings around the bottom from last year, but other than that, there ain't much. Here is this year's nut of a hickory. This is what you want to look for when you're out there. It's kind of like a little pear or apple, just a small one, but it's a nut in the inside that you're not going to break it into unless you have something to slam it with. But that's this year's. This is what it looks like, you know, after a season. Here's the nut in the inside. All right, y'all, I peeled as much as I could off of it, but this is the nut right here. It's a pretty good size one too. You ready? Mm-hmm. But what these squirrels will do is they'll get in here and they'll, as you guys seen in the video clip of the one that I filmed, as you're looking at right now, you can see how he's just slowly cutting around it, That's how they eat. And they'll do that until these nuts are just down to basically just the bare. So what we'll do now is I'm going to show you guys a shred bark of the tree so you know what to look for when you're out there in the squirrel woods. So when it comes to, no matter it's late season, early season, etc., when it comes to that, when you're squirrel hunting, all you got to do is just move slow and watch. When I'm hunting, I'll take maybe 10 steps and I'll just stand there, and I might stand there for 3 minutes watching. I watch for trees to shake. For instance, when a squirrel jumps on a leaf, you'll hear, and you'll see them trees go, you know, shake. You might see a little tree limb sway. So that's just one thing that, you know, y'all can look for when you're out in the squirrel woods, is them leaves shaking. That's the biggest thing that gives them away for me. The sound early in the morning, if it's dew on the limbs, you know what I mean, and he does that, you'll hear it just sound like a bunch of rain fall at once. And you'll get to looking up in them trees, you'll see him moving through there. But that's just all the basic. I don't have many other hunting techniques other than, you know, I could say being really stealthy, stalking an air gun. I have to be that way when I hunt. I can't run and gun as if I got a shotgun or a long range rifle. So with the air guns, I'm always stealthy. Me and him snuck within, what, 20 yards from all of them squirrels today. Had no clue we were there. We had a gun, boom, 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 it was over. But with that, I'm gonna come out with a part 2 late in the season. I'm gonna teach you guys right when late season starts to come around. That's when a lot of the video territorial tips is you're gonna see is gonna be way different. My hunting style is gonna be way different. I'm gonna have way more tips on how to kill squirrels and stuff, because it gets a lot harder. I know when you're up in your tree stands and stuff during, you know, rut, it's not that bad, but after rut, that's when squirrel hunting can be very, very difficult and challenging. But, you know, with the right advice and stuff, you can make it happen. So with that, I want to thank each and every one of y'all for watching. We'll see you all in another episode of Hunt, Fish, and Howl Outdoors.
Due to the fact that my cameraman unfortunately forgot to film the shagbark hickory, I am now going to put a picture up, so at least when you guys get in the woods, you know what type of tree to look for.
He had it hard.